Now, if you're wondering, how do I begin to understand this stuff? We actually started the podcast, and the first several episodes that we did talked about some of these kinds of things. It talked about how do we deal with fear? How do we deal with rebellion? How do we deal with lust? How do we deal with all these different things? So there's already some material out there on our earlier podcasts that really talk about these specific areas. But when you take the idea of the spiritual man into account, it changes everything. And the biggest thing is this: human beings were made to connect with God, and they were made to connect with other people. When we live totally out of a mind world, we miss so much. We're missing the major part of what's going on in a person. We're missing major parts of what's actually being sent back and forth. And I would highlight just the thing called body language. A lot of times we instinctively are perceiving things from other people. We're sending stuff back and forth in different kinds of directions. It's at a subliminal level. It's at a subconscious level. So a lot of times we don't understand what's going on. We're just responding as human beings, and that's what human beings do. And to be honest, a lot of times people get weirded out when they're around me after I've talked about some of this kind of stuff. That's what I do. When I'm dealing with a person, I deal with a person. I can go into that more counselor mode where I'm doing some analyzing. I'm saying, okay, what's going on here spiritually? What's the message? Why is the message not going through? You can drop into that, or I can drop into that, and I can analyze situations. But mostly, as a human being, what do? I just live. I live with people. I talk to people. I listen to people. I interact with them. God has created us as human beings to respond as a whole person. Let's go back to Jesus' idea. You love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind. More than anything else, we're a whole person. We're not just a spirit person. The spirit interacts with the mind. It interacts with the emotions. The emotions and mind and the will, they interact back and forth with the spirit. We're a whole person. So part of being healthy is just relaxing, being authentic, being real. But there is also this invisible part of the spirit that we've really become oblivious to. And if we can raise that part up in our understanding, I believe that you'll find you're able to be more effective in the lives of others. You'll be able to have healthier relationships. When you understand that, oh, this part of my life, this spiritual part isn't healthy, and it's giving out a bad message, and then after it gives out a bad message, then I tend to get these kind of reactions back from the other people. When we understand those dynamics, we're able to look at it, at ourselves and at life a little more analytically, see what needs to be changed, and make those appropriate changes. Once we're able to make the appropriate changes, there's a kind of power introduced. I talk about all things work by spiritual authority. Ultimately, all spiritual authority is exercised what? Through the body. It's exercised in words. It's exercised in actions. And that's another way that I feel like what I teach is different. A lot of times when you hear about spirituality, it's more of a yoga or more of an Eastern meditation type of a mindset where it's like the body doesn't matter. In biblical spirituality, the body matters intensely. What's happening at the spirit level, those fear things, guess what? Guess how I address them? I address them through the words of my mouth. I address them through actions. So again, Jesus teaches, the Bible teaches a holistic spirituality. That's part of why I believe Jesus uses the word heart, where all of this is one combined whole. And to get better, to grow, to be a whole person, it has to be your whole heart, which is your whole person. Again, these are ideas of spirituality that are thoroughly biblical, but we haven't understood them to a great degree, and so we've tended to pursue God with our minds, or we've tended to pursue God with our emotions, and it's been a hollow faith. It's been inauthentic, and more than anything, it's lacked power. One of the things that I want to be able to say as I've lived for Christ and as I go through my life is that at the end of my life, I want to know I've been effective. That's why we call it effective heart change. I want to know that I've made a difference, that I've lived out my purpose. And I believe one of the best ways to do that is to learn this information about spirituality, how it functions, how it affects other people, how it can change lives. I want to challenge you to continue to join with us. If you do join with us, you're going to learn about these areas, and I do believe it can make you more effective as you reach out to others, as you're in your house, as you're a married person, as you're whatever role you're in. Good spirituality creates better connectedness with God and with people, and that makes for a better life. So please join us in the journey. We're going to continue to give you more insights into what it looks like to be a spiritual person in a healthy way. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. We'll see you next time.
Video production, editing, and audio by Matthew. Set design and setup by Ashley. Content recorded live at Studio 104.